So, in talking about the interior of the Earth, we've got the crust, which is solid. We've got the mantle, and the mantle is kind of plastic. It's able to move a little bit. Well, it turns out we can actually divide this a little bit more. The upper part of the mantle is actually more fluid. The uppermost part is actually pretty solid. The middle part is more fluid. The middle to upper part is more fluid than the very most upper part. And so, again, you go deeper inside here, and the temperature is increasing here. And so we do have places up here in the upper mid part in which the temperature is very close to the melting point. So it actually, the uppermost part of the mantle, the part that is really solid here, is connected to the crust, so it doesn't really move around much. That part right there we have a name for. That is called the lithosphere. So the lithosphere. The next part, that is the upper part of the mantle, but not the absolute upper part. It's the upper part just below where it's solid, super solid, we call the asthenosphere. The asthenosphere is not really liquid, but it flows like glaciers. It does move around a little bit, and so as it flows, then it's hot near the bottom, and so the hot rock works its way up, and it pushes the cooler rock into the surface down, and so you get this convection pattern that's flowing inside there, and that convection pattern is helping bring heat from the interior of the Earth up to near the surface. So this asthenosphere is this layer that is fluid and readily movable. Now the mid-mantle has some flow in it as well, and some places flow more than other places, but it's the upper mid part that flows right under the crust, and that is that's what's moving the most down there, and then we'll be able to that's going to actually move things around. And it turns out as it moves around, it pushes on the crust. So it actually stresses the crust as it's moving around underneath there. That actually pushes around on the crust, and we're going to find out that has a big impact on what happens up here on the surface of the Earth. Sometimes you discover that in the deep mantle down here, you actually have some motion or some plumes that will shove its way all the way up through the asthenosphere. Okay, so these plumes will come up from convection or stuff squirting up from down below. And so really the interior of the Earth is very much dynamic, and things are moving around in there, and so this is something that we'll be talking about more later, because it has a lot to do, as I said, with what happened to the surface. What goes on under the surface affects what's going on the surface.